Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
What's going on, guys? It's Filthy and I'm back with another video. Season 20 is about 2 weeks old. We've had the benefit of 3 weekends, I think, so things are starting to settle a little on the boards. So I thought it might be fun to have a look at the top build for every class on the leaderboards. This is going to be based on the EU, which is the region in which I play. I have done guides, I think, on pretty much all of these builds. Not necessarily season specific ones, some of them do have a few changes in the cube which we'll go over, but I have covered most of them on the channel, so I'll try and put some gameplay up for you whilst we talk about the builds, and I will link any of my guides that I've got in the video description, so if you do want to go check them out, please do so. Now, as always guys, a thumbs up is greatly appreciated, and welcome if you are new, hit that subscribe button, but other than that, let's get into it. So starting us off guys, in 7th we've got the Demon Hunter. 122 is the clear, which is obviously incredible clear. It's still quite far behind the other classes, so I do feel a little for the Demon Hunter. Not too much going on, but it's actually a shadow build. Now it's going to take the Orgild set, which is how I've done it in my guide, so I will link that in the description for you. The change this season for the theme is because we can use the cube, we can put the convention of elements and Rogue, as well as having the elusive ring on the character. So generally speaking, this is going to be better than off-season, I would have thought, but just because of the flexibility. But Traveller's Pledge, Compass Rose, 5 pieces of Shadow, Carle's Point, obviously pretty easy to get a decent one of these because there's only 2 daggers in the pool, and I think the setup is pretty much your kind of standard Shadow stuff, so pretty decent build, but as I say, it is lagging quite far behind. But Shadow Impel Demon Hunter, if you do want to know how to run it, check out the video below. So moving us into 6th place, little cry from me, it's Necro. I was hoping Necro would be doing a little better, but the interesting thing about this 127 clear is it is actually using Blood Nova. Now I have done a guide on how to push with a Legacy Dreams Nova. I've got a few things different. I like to take the Corpse Whisper Pauldron shoulders, and instead of Simulacrum I take Corpse Lance because I just think that single target is better. What this may well be is a build that fishes, let's say for Hamlin, or a Rift Guardian with lots of adds, because the Blood type blade is your main damaging mechanic for this build, so it really shines when you've got lots of enemies in a kind of condensed area. So obviously if you get a single target only Rift Guardian, I would have thought this would struggle. It's using Simulacrum to buff up double damage, so again maybe that combined with the Stricken and the fact that you can pop a lot of Novas off will maybe help you, but given that the Scythe of the Cycle will drop if you drop your Bone Armour, it's interesting. I can't really sort of see how this works unless you do have a particularly Rift Guardian with lots of adds, let's say. But it is really tough and tanky actually for a Necro build. You've got lots of different layers of mitigation in here. The Aquila, the Dainties, Stone Gauntlets, and also Ice Climbers. You're getting absolutely stacks of armour with that. So and a Unity as well. So lots of toughness in this build. It is what I'm planning on pushing with personally. The next build down actually only by 30 seconds is Mages, and I have done a guide on that, so I'll link both of those Legacy Dreams Necro push builds, but this one's definitely my favourite and I'm looking forward to getting on this at some point during this season. Now in 5th we actually have a tie. It's going to be Wizard and one other class. Now I'm going to put Wizard in 5th because this guy's got crazy Paragon, almost 3.5k, and it is going to be the Hydra build. Now this is Legacy of Dreams, so again in the cube we're going to be doubling up on weapons, on orbs. So we've got the Et Sigil and also the Serpent Sparker, the Death Wish, and also the Orb of Infinite Depth. Now the Orb of Infinite Depth with Explosive Blast gives you incredible toughness. You've obviously got quite a lot anyway from your Halo of Carini, from your Blood Bracers, from your shields. You're going to offset that with squirts, so you're going to take a bit more damage if your shield drops. But the idea is it's a channeling build. You're going to channel with your skill, which is going to be Arcane Torrent. You're then basically going to get the Hydras doing a bunch more damage. So it's nice that the new items and Hydra is the top build. It would have been maybe a bit cooler if it had been, let's say, the set, because obviously that set is new to the game, but you can't really see that anywhere on the boards. But again, it's another really tanky build. Actually, it's a very tanky push build, this one. Again, I really like this. I personally mix it with Meteor, just because I'm a bit quirky and I do like the effect of Meteor, but it looks like straight Hydra probably is more powerful, and this is the way to go. Hergrash Binding to reduce arcane power of Arcane Torrent, so that will keep you topped up with your Aquila Cuirass. And then other than that, you're looking at pet items really, Task and Theo to buff up your Hydras, and then also channeling items, so Deathwitch and the Mantle of Channeling Shoulders. So it is pretty good build. I do like this one a lot. I have played on PTR quite a lot. Haven't set up a wizard yet, but I will link my Hydra Meteor push guide just in case you want to get a feel for how this type of build works. So tied with the wizard, but I'm going to give this one 4th, is the monk. Paragon is certainly a lot lower for the 127 clear, and this is the Patterns of Justice Tempest Rush Monk. Now, I did actually make a guide on this. I have rolled a monk so far. It's quite easy to play. There's only really one mechanic you've got. So you're mixing the captain set in, so belt, and then you get to choose either pants or boots. Nice couple of primals there. And you're going to put the one Kim Lao in the cube, which is the Tempest Rush fist weapon. You're then going to put the balance in the cube as well, and that allows you to take the Istvan set. So they give you extra damage, attack speed and armor, which obviously just means you can go a little bit higher. So it's not massively more powerful than POJ in general. So normally speaking, you'd have this on the character and you'd pair it with another weapon, but it does allow you to go probably a couple of rift levels higher. So it does look like this will probably end up being the top monk build. This is what I'm playing on monk personally. It is fun, it is quite good, and it's quite easy to speed farm with the set as well. So if you only want to augment one up, it is pretty nice. So you've got Desert Shroud in for a bit of toughness, Mantra of Salvation for a bit of toughness. You're going to take Blinding Flash, which is what you're going to use to proc your Caesar's Memento. So these give you a huge damage increase on Tempest Rush, and basically you take the Cold Rune Flurry. This will build up stacks to 100, and then you detonate them on your cold cycle for convention for maximum damage. Zodiac and cooldown are pretty much essential for this build, and yeah, you're just trying to keep Epiphany up as much as possible and releasing your Tempest Rush 100 stacks on cold. Also, you take Serenity Ascension. This just gives you 4 seconds of damage immunity, CC immunity, which is pretty good, and then again, kind of toughness passive, so Harmony, Guardian's Path for some dodge chance, Beacon of Yitar for cooldown, and Near Death Experience. So yeah, I quite like this one. Full guide, as I say in the description. Now in 3rd, with a 133 clear, we have the Barbarian, and probably no great surprise, it is Whirlwind. I was really hoping the Savage set would be the top one for Barb for pushing this season, but it doesn't really look likely. Now Whirlwind is going to benefit from the season theme, because you can now put Band of Might and Zodiac in the cube, because obviously we allow double rings. That frees up us to take Focus and Restraint, so that gives us a extra modifier, because what you're going to do is use Ground Stomp to proc part of it, and then obviously Whirlwind will proc the other bit. So again, pretty tough and tanky build, lots of mitigation. Mortix Brace gives you every rune on Wrath of the Berserker, so that's 50% damage reduction. Band of Might gives you 80% after Ground Stomping. You can also use Ancient Spear and Ground Stomp to group enemies. Wrath of the Berserker more damage, and then Battle Rage is going to give you some sustain, and then you basically just hold down Whirlwind, and yeah, pretty much everything normally speaking melts, but obviously towards the top end, you know, it does take a bit of time to kill stuff. Bane of the Stricken will alleviate that, and we're going to take the Istvan set as well, which again I think pretty much was the same last season. So the kind of real change here is the jewellery, and basically dumping the Mantle of Channeling Shoulders to work in Focus and Restraint. So again, I have done a guide on triple rings. Actually, I quite like playing with triple rings. That's probably more of a speed build, but I'll link that, because again I have rolled a Barb and Whirlwind. It's just really easy, very easy play style, goes very high. So yeah, so go check that out if you want. So moving us into 2nd, we've got the Witch Doctor with an absolutely whopping 138. Now it's staggering that this is so high, and it's even more staggering that this is only 2nd. Now, no surprise, it is the new set, the Mundanugu one. Guys, this will most definitely be nerfed for next season, so I would jump on this whilst you can, because at 3.5k Paragon, not being that far from 140 is pretty bonkers. Now, I haven't done a guide on this yet. I have rolled a Witch Doctor. I've only just started to put the pieces together, so that will hopefully be out towards the end of next week. Pretty much going to take the Crimson set. It's just such a good set as well. But the idea is that this set juices up Spirit Barrage quite a lot. You can pair it with the Barber, which is a classic Spirit Barrage item, as well as the Gazing Demise, which has also been buffed. It deals an absolute boatload of damage. The only thing I would say is it is a little squishy early on starting off, so there are some things that you can do to make it a bit more casual friendly and tough and tanky, so I'll cover that in the guide. But it's Sacred Harvester to buff up your Soul Harvest stacks, Big Bad Voodoo, which obviously is incorporated in the set, Piranha Nado to group stuff up, Spirit Walk for mobility and also to activate the damage reduction on the set, which is nice. Pestilence for more damage because the Ring of Emptiness has been buffed this season, so you now only have to take either Locust Swarm or Hunt, whereas it used to be both. And obviously Spirit Barrage, Mana 2 for absolutely crackers damage. It is actually technically a pet build, so Enforcer is going to be mandatory to give you some extra damage, and then Lacumba's Ornament is going to give you some toughness, 60%, once you get that Soul Harvest up to 10 sacks. Obviously Crimson's always gives you more damage and more toughness as well, and then Compass Rose. So the idea is Traveller's Pledge and Compass Rose. As you move from elite to elite or target to target, you get toughness. When you stop and stand still, you deal up to double damage. So it is a lot of fun, it is very good. I will be very surprised if this doesn't catch a nerf at the end of this season, so I'm planning on playing the crap out of it towards the end of the season, but it is pretty good. But 138 is bonkers, only under 12 minutes as well. It's really funny, but absolutely crackers that it isn't top, and that goes to the Crusader with a 140 clear. That is incredible, absolutely incredible, and it's basically Holy Shotgun. Now, the change for this season is the cube, so again it's another one of these kind of interesting builds that won't be here off season. You can't do this off season, but you can now take the Ivory Tower as well as the Shield of Fury and also Akarat's Awakening. And the idea is what you're going to do is, normally speaking, you've got Shotgun juiced up, so you're taking the Fate of the Fell and also the Braces of Fury, just getting your multipliers out for the Shotgun, which works with the Valor set. You normally take the Shield of Fury on the character and you stack up the Heaven's Fury to deal even more damage, but now you can work in the Ivory Tower with the block mechanic. So when you make a block, you will release a Fist of Heaven, so that is obviously more damage. And with Akarat's Awakening, you basically get a load of cooldown because you're blocking, and that just gives you, just makes the build a lot easier to play basically, and you can dump out quite a lot of damage. Now I'm a little surprised that this is top. I did think it would be strong, not 140, two weeks into the season strong, but obviously that is looking like how it is. So Justice Lantern's going to give us more block chance, that feeds into the Ivory Tower quite nicely. Flavour of Time for more pylon effect, which is great. Mutilation Guard is giving us some extra melee damage reduction. Also allows you to move unhindered when under 50%. I think it's kind of cool that we've got this gem in here, because to be honest, it's been absolutely ages since a legendary gem that wasn't one of the big hitters was actually used in a build, so that's nice. Stricken obviously for more damage on the boss and building up stacks, and then Esoteric Alteration for giving us some kind of like extra toughness against elemental stuff. So yeah, very nice. Again, Crimson's definitely one of my favourite sets in the game, so more damage, more toughness, which is nice. And then looking at the skills, it's some pretty classic kind of shotgun stuff. You've got Akarat's Champion Prophet for more damage. You've got Laws of Valor, Unstoppable Force, giving us attack speed and also mitigation because it gives resource cost reduction. Judgment Debilitate, again, bit of healing. Iron Skin Flash for 50% damage reduction and mobility. We've got Heaven's Fury with Fires of Heaven, obviously the type of shotgun build that we're going for, and then Fists of Heaven for Fissure, which is obviously giving us the damage reduction from the Aegis of Valor set. So this is a build that I do like. I have done a guide, not specifically on the season, because obviously you're going to work in the Justice Lantern and go for block chance, but I will link my shotgun push guide just in case, again, you want to get a feel for this. So that's the list, guys. That's every class's top build at the moment. As I say, there has been a bit of movement as I've been keeping my eye on this over the last week or so, so maybe we'll come back in a few more weeks and things will look a little different. 140 being cleared only 3 weekends into the season is absolutely nuts. I haven't rolled a Sada yet. I'm really tempted to, looking at this. That is just an absolutely incredible clear. But as I say, I want to check out Witch Doctor. So let me know, what class are you playing, what's your highest clear, and are you enjoying Season 20? I'll be back with some more Season 20 stuff just as soon as I can. I hope you're all keeping well. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take it easy. Peace.